So you've got high expectations set way up here. And by the time you actually get to listen to this album, it comes way down here. Let's go. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. You found your way over to the Modest Audiophile channel, and yeah, today we're going to talk about a disappointment. I don't like to do that too much on this channel. In fact, I think I've only done it once before. Big time disappointment for a couple reasons. Mostly the thoughtlessness in how this thing was packaged, how the individuals put the piece of wax vinyl into this container and then decided to ship it out in the condition that it was in. And we'll get to that in a second. So I, like a lot of you I'm sure, placed an order months ago when this thing was pre-released, the announcement was made. I don't know, I think I placed an order 3 months ago or so. Waited, and all of a sudden, I think it was May 2nd, it got released, and I'm waiting for the tracking report from Postal Service, blah, blah, blah. Finally gets here, so excited. I come in, I take this out of the package. We'll do that first because that's part of the problem. So I spent, I think I spent like $42, $43 for this. So I open it up, and yeah, you got a nice cover. You've all seen the cover, I'm sure, by now. There's the back. Very nice. In fact, this is how much I spent. I spent $44.99 on this. Pink Floyd, live at Pompeii. The legendary performance on vinyl for the first time. 2025, mixed by Steven Wilson. Includes poster. Okay. So, yeah, it includes a poster. We'll get to that. But one of the most disappointing things, again, $45. This is a huge announcement by Pink Floyd, right? Everybody's been waiting for it. Steven Wilson did the remix. I've been a fan of Steven Wilson since I first heard his remaster of Jethro Tull's Aqualung, which was never a great sounding album to begin with for a lot of reasons. But I did a review on it. Check it here. Steven Wilson did remarkable work on that and others, the Yes catalog and some other things. So I'm a big fan of Steven Wilson. This company, Sony, I guess, who put this out, I'm guessing now that they own the rights, I think so. Anyway, shame on me if I'm wrong. But anyway, the packaging. You pull it out of here. Yeah, pretty cool. Got a nice picture. The record is in this cardboardish, paperish sleeve. Pull it out. Take a look at it. I noticed scuff marks, oily fingerprints on all four sides of this release. I was very disheartened. I've been able to clean that up before, so I did a nice wet clean on it. Tried to get rid of as much of the oils and fingerprints as I could. They were stubborn, I'll say that. And then I put this thing through the humming guru and gave it 3 cycles on the ultrasonic bath. This thing has so many scuffs on it. I was very disappointed. But say, okay, let's put it on the turntable, and what do we hear? We hear a bowl of Rice Krispies on steroids. This thing has so many pops, clicks, just surface noise galore. Now I understand some of you got a good copy. I subsequently looked on Discogs or any place I could get a review, and there are a lot of issues with this particular record. But again, coming out of the way this thing was packaged, horrible. I'm returning this, so I'm putting it back in the paper sleeves. There's a couple reasons why I'm returning it. I'm not asking for another copy of this back. I'll tell you why here in short order, okay? So yeah, you get that for disc 1. Second one, you know, set the controls for the Heart of the Sun. Nice picture there. Again, these people just chuck this thing right inside. All 4 sides of this. Again, I've cleaned this thing 3 times now, and I can still see scuffs and fingerprints, and they're not mine. All right, put that back in. I'm not going to show you the poster. The poster is what the poster is, okay? So, again, the noise that was coming out of this thing was such a distraction. You know what I'm talking about. If you hear that to the extent in which it's heard, you don't want to listen to this anymore. This thing had a lot of quiet passages where I'm constantly hearing crackle, pop, snap, and some really big pops throughout. Even when some of the louder passages I was listening to, it was still distracting. That aside, one of the reasons why I'm not going to ask for a replacement for this is mainly because of this album, Meddle. I bought this 2 weeks before I got this. And this is part of the 2016 re-release. I think it's Bernie Drummond, if I'm not mistaken, who did the mastering on this. If I'm wrong, I'll put a picture here. But there's a lot of songs from Meddle, which was the album that they just released before they did this show in an empty Pompei. So a lot of things similar on this album. This thing sounds miraculous. It really does. I put it right up there with the new version of Animals. This sounds really, really good. And this was not a very familiar album to me. I live in the Pink Floyd zone between Dark Side all the way through The Wall, right? Those are the albums that I really enjoy listening to. So I took a step outside of that and got this. This is really good. More on this in a second. So in general, I would say, back to this album, the volume was considerably lower. You had to raise the volume knob a bit on your amplifier. I'd say, in my case, typically the Goldilocks zone for most records that I listen to, I'm listening to it on a volume of 67 on my integrated, and I had to go up to 71 on this to get the same dB levels that I was accustomed to. That's okay, that's fine. But again, by raising that volume, the snap, crackles, and pop just got louder and louder and louder as well. The sound stage on this, it's not extremely wide, it's not extremely tall. It's average. There isn't a ton of depth. Now, I get it. This was recorded by four mono recorders, we'll say, 4 mono tracks, and it doesn't sound like a studio album. Didn't expect it to sound like a studio album. It doesn't quite sound like a live album either. It's somewhere in the middle, and that was interesting. That was part of the interesting thing of this. I think Steven Wilson did a really good job of bringing out some of the delicateness and some of the sparkle that this has to offer. Again, by doing so, the packaging just destroyed it. But Steven Wilson did a good job. Yeah, the overall depth really wasn't there. More of that 2D, two-dimensional type of listening experience, more so than a 3D. Some of the pluses on this, I think that Nick Mason's drums really came through well on this. Really nice. Gilmour had some just outstanding tones coming out of his guitar. Really, really cool. Was it enough to want to keep this and get a second copy? No, but they were really, really good performances. And that gets me back to the comparison to Meddle, okay? I think the echoes part 1 and part 2 that you get on this, which is split up between echoes part 1 being an 11 minute and 55 seconds on side A, and then it finishes up with another 13 minutes and 23 seconds on side 3. It broke up the continuity of it, and you're getting a much better experience of echoes sonically, much, much, much better, regardless of the snap, crackle, and pops, which this has none. But the overall experience of listening to echoes is far superior on this. You also get on on this Pompei album, you get One of These Days, first song on side 3. It's okay. It doesn't compare to the power that this one provides. Again, I get it. Studio album, quasi concert album. Okay, that's fine. The performance is much more enjoyable here. Another thing to add is the second song on side 3 is called Mademoiselle Knobs, which is just a regurgitation of Seamus from this album, where we have the dog howling. It's a blues song. Why they put it on here, I don't know, because it does not compare whatsoever to Seamus, which is pretty good on this album. It's quite enjoyable, and it fits more. Doesn't. Poster wants to come out. It doesn't fit on this album, Mademoiselle Knobs, or again, we'll call it a revamping of Seamus. Just doesn't really fit. It doesn't sound nearly as good either. My favorite track on this album, however, was Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, which is the second song on side B, coming right after A Saucer Full of Secrets. Yeah, Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun was pretty enjoyable on this. I really liked it. Notwithstanding the snap, crackles, and pops and the surface noise and the aggravation that caused. But the overall performance was really good. So, yeah, to keep this thing short, I'm so disappointed because I wanted to love this album. I really did. I wanted to love it. After I listened to this, I streamed it instead, and I got more enjoyment out of that for what this is, a performance in an empty space in Pompeii. But if I want to listen to these songs and get X-fold of enjoyment out of it, I'm listening to this. This is really good. Meddle. If you can get, I think, again, it's a 2016 version of Meddle. It's the most recent one out there. I picked this up at Brick and Mortar, and really, really enjoyable. Quite surprised me, if I'm being honest. This thing really surprised me, and I'm thoroughly happy with it. Yeah, just looking at the tracks on this, obviously on side 2 of Meddle, the entire side is Echoes, part 1 and part 2 all together. Really nice version on this, the definitive version we'll call it. But on side 1 you do get One of These Days, more powerful than you're getting on the Pompei for sure. A Pillow of Winds, pretty interesting song. I had never heard it before, quite enjoyed it. Fearless, another one that's pretty nice. Seamus, I liked Seamus on this with the dog howling in the back and the blues song in the harmonica, I believe, too. Quite enjoyable. And then, yeah, Saint-Tropez as well. Saint-Tropez was quite fun on this. I enjoyed this album much more than I thought I would. This album, it's going back. And I asked to have my refund put towards a store credit, and I will pick up something that I've had on my wish list for quite some time. What that is, I'm not entirely sure yet. I'll make that decision later today. But it is going back into the packaging and in the mail. That's it. I'm so sorry I had to be bearer of bad news. If you got a copy of this that is clean and with no surface noise, no destructions, congratulations, good on you. There are a lot of us out there, however, that just have a poor packaging, poor Q&A. Packaging's okay. Poor quality assurance, greasy fingerprints, scuffs galore, and yeah, I'm sending it back. I will get all I need out of the high-res streaming file, and I'll be perfectly happy with that for what this is. If I want to listen to these songs, I'm going to listen to it on Meddle. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I hope this helps. Don't really like doing negative type of reviews, but we have one today. All right, take care until the next one, and it will be positive, I promise. Bye. Hey everybody, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with me today. It is appreciated. If you do like this type of content, yeah, go down there and hit like. Also, take a look around. You may find something else that you like here. I've got about 70 or so other videos. Chances are, if you like this, you may like something else as well. And if you want to further support the channel, yeah, go down there and hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing, and you can always take it away later.